Hi friends, Cassie here. I'm talking to you today about our craft for adults this month, where we'll be making these cute little watermelon coasters. You're gonna get enough supplies to make 2 of these. In your craft kit, you'll get your 2 wood slices. We have some little cork that's gonna go on the back. You're gonna get a color wheel, a paintbrush, some paint, and then a a little cup of sealer as well. This is Mod Podge, and this is matte finish Mod Podge. So we give you paints to make your colors. So you're going to be making some like lighter red, so either pink, maybe a little magenta-ish, and some green. And you can use your color wheel to mix those. So my suggestion is, when I did this, is I first went through and traced a little line, a circle for the red. So these are not exactly circles, so you kind of have to just go based on your shape. And I went probably about a ½ inch in. And you can kind of go based off of the little circles within the wood slice, which makes it a little easier when you're drawing yours. So I found it easiest to kind of do that first little circle, then paint in your red. My tip is to do thin layers. This is pretty thick paint and it does cover pretty well. Even still, you're going to want to do at least 2 layers of each color to get it fully opaque and to fully cover the wood, especially the lines within the wood. But I found it best to do thin layers so that it didn't get too clumpy and it dried faster, especially since you're going to be using this as a coaster. If it's too thick, it has a better chance of it chipping, which you definitely don't want that to happen. So again, work in very thin layers. So you're going to do your red first, let that dry. Then I went through with white, and about halfway with whatever's left on the edge. And the good thing with the white is if you go further, you can always cover that up with the green afterwards. So let your white fully dry, and then you do your green all along the edge. You can do some fixing up after everything dries. If you noticed, oh, I went too far with the green, you can go back over the white. It does take a little while. This completely from beginning to end took me a couple of hours to finish, because I wanted it to be really nice and covered fully, and I wanted everything to be dry between layers, so I had less chance of things mixing and the colors getting weird. So once all of your paint is done and dried, then you're gonna go in with a permanent marker, so like a Sharpie. If you had a black paint pen, that could work as well. And you're gonna do your seeds. So it kind of made it look like a little, you know, that classic 5-petal flower shape. And again, I just did this freehand. So you're gonna want the top to be rounded and to come down into a point. You can do it in pencil first and then go in with your marker afterwards. As long as you cover the pencil fully, it should cover it totally. I went in with pencil first, and I don't really have any discoloration in here, so I think that works out well. Once you do that, give it a few minutes for your marker to dry, because sometimes if you're using a paint pen, you want to give it a good decent amount of time for it to dry fully. If you're just using a permanent marker, give it maybe about 5 minutes for it to dry. You can always check it by tapping it with your finger, make sure there's no transfer. Because once you do that, you're gonna put your sealer on. So you can't really tell I have sealer on here because it is the matte finish. Like I said, if you kind of look along the edge, you can see there's just a little shine. I did, I think, at least 3, again, thin layers, 3 layers of Mod Podge, and the little container does have sealer written on it, so you don't confuse it with your white paint. It's a lot thicker. It goes on white, but it does dry clear. And I worked in thin layers, very thin layers, because again, I didn't want it to get clumpy for the chance for it to chip while using it. So what I did is I completely just covered the top part, and then afterwards, when I did 3 layers of that, letting it dry a few minutes between, so that you don't get streaks. That's just my personal preference, but I did let it dry between each layer. And then once that part was done, I did go through and I did put sealer along the edges as well. I ended up doing that because the green did kind of go over the edge, and I just wanted that little extra step of protection. But that's up to you. If you want to do the sides, you don't have to do the sides. That's your choice. So like I said, you'll have the supplies to make 2 of these. They're really cute for summer if you have a porch outside, or you know, your little table gives you a cute coaster for outside. Once everything is fully dry, you can stick your little, it's very thin, a very thin layer of cork board, that's what it is. And as you can see, the cork board is a circle. Our wood slices are not a complete circle. So what I'm just gonna do is, it does have white on the opposite side, is I'm just going to use a pencil so I know where to cut along the edges. You can't really see on this, but I did get like a little crinkle. So I'm just gonna cut a little past my line of the pencil so I don't have any cork sitting on the outside. And I'm just gonna make sure before I unpeel it that it looks okay. And I actually see I still have a little extra over here. So I'm just gonna trim a little more. And I have a fire truck driving by, so if you hear that, that's what's going on there. All right, so I think that looks good. I'm going to just peel this off. It should peel, yep. Just have to get your nail in there and then it'll come off, theoretically. And I'm going to stick it back here. And we thought this little piece of cork board would just give it that little, your table, just a little extra protection, especially if you're using a glass top or wood. There you go, it just sticks right on because it's sticky, no extra glue needed. And here is our final piece, all done. And I've actually been using this coaster at work for a few weeks now because I made this a while ago. And it's been working great. I have a little cup and I haven't had any discoloration. So I think you should be all set with at least 3 layers of sealer. You could always go up to 4 or 5 if you really wanted to be protected. But again, do thin layers. That's the biggest tip I can give you is thin layers. I hope you have fun making this. Make sure you register to get a craft kit and have a nice day. Bye.